Your online is online here. You can get education. He's back.
He's off. He did his girlfriend from the boss and running to us.
Oh, that's easy.
When I was in Michigan State, before I was in yes, yes. I'm watching this. Yes. I think that'd be the way she's got money. I'll be the question.
You're not necessarily expected to make this. They want to do this weekend. It's just stating the issues.
I know, well, see, medicine.
Yeah, what is that?
Adrian's house.
Maybe you just say that Ron and
Okay, we have time here? No.
okay, do you want it to be 9:30?
Well, you know, depending on this, after the year, so I'm. Because it's like kind of one thing, back there.
Up in there, up there.
Okay,
I'm not gonna have to talk if you set the battery. Now you're gonna break it.
okay.
I can add or something.
It will be like,
Yeah.
Call to order the August meeting of the zoning board of appeals. First item on agenda, roll call.
Berg,
Sure.
Kolesky,
Here.
Jacobitz,
Yes.
Healy,
Here.
Strayer is absent, Berthold,
Here.
you have a quorum.
Okay.
Strayer.
Next item, approval of the minutes from our last meeting. There was a copy. Anybody have any additions or corrections? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Having reviewed the minutes of the July 11th meeting, I move we approve them as written.
And I will second that.
We have motion and support. Questions? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, minutes accepted. We have one item of new business. It's a temporary use for 1800 West US 223. More so known as the Gleaner property. We don't have anyone here to speak on this per se.
Actually, is this not the Christian Family Center?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
It's Christian Family Center, not Gleaners. I was
Yeah,
saying
Leaners is adjacent to it,
Jason,
Yeah.
Christian Family Center, my mistake.
or simply the center nowadays.
The neighbors next door.
Yep.
Anybody questions, comments, issues?
The fire department has reviewed this.
Yeah, in fact, there'd been some confusion in the past. The fire chief has always just sent these to the city commission, but we actually had a fireworks event earlier this year where we got a bunch of complaints, and we looked into that a little bit and realized that really these, as the ordinance is currently written, and as you know, we're working on a new ordinance, but as ordinance is currently written, these fall within the scope of temporary uses and really should be going before this body for approval. And so we asked the center to go ahead and do that. The city commission already approved the display, so the permit, it's the permit for the display, which is a form that the state requires, but this is an appropriate and necessary step as well, and the approval of the event, which is the use of that property on August 5th for the activities indicated, which will include a fireworks display.
Are there any significant differences between what they propose to do this year and what they have done every year since 1991?
Not that I know of. No.
Okay. For the record.
Any other questions or comments? We have any questions from anybody? Did we?
We did not receive any correspondence regarding it. But I am aware of it.
Okay. If there are no further questions, we'll go down through and review what we need to do, review for temporary use. Temporary use permits compatible with the various provisions of this chapter. It talks about being zoned education complex and has entertainment for the students. This proposed temporary use is similar to that of the entertainment for the families that go to Lenawee Christian. I guess we can say that. Yes.
Yes.
2, temporary use is reasonable use of land compatible with the general plan, land use designation, and zoning classification. Once again, property is educational. Entertainment, yes for that. 3, temporary use will not impede the reasonable use of the land, orderly development of the land in the immediate vicinity. A one-day thing is not going to have any effect on that, and everything's taking place in their own property. So fine, yes for that. 4, temporary use shall not adversely affect the adjacent use, buildings, or other structures. Once again, this is a one-time, one-day use. I'm guessing that some of the people will enjoy watching the fireworks from their nearby structures anyway. So fine, yes for that. Number 5, temporary use will not endanger public health, safety, and general welfare. Once again, this has already been checked out by the fire department, and I'm sure it meets all the other criteria that they have to have through the state. So find yes for that. Number 6, provision for adequate traffic circulation, off-street parking, pedestrian safety have been provided and will be maintained during the operation use of the activity. We had a drawing showing what they proposed to do. And anybody have any questions on that drawing? Anything look like there's a problem there? Seeing none. Yes for number 6. Number 7, granting the temporary use permit is made subject to these conditions necessary to preserve general welfare, not the individual welfare of a particular applicant. Just allowing them to do what they need to do and for their one-time performance. Fine for, yes for number 7. Finding yes for all these, unless there's a question, entertain a motion.
I actually do have a question about number 7. Do we in this body need to know the conditions on the hours of fireworks noise volume? Or is that just something that the city will handle in issuing the permit?
Well, in the past, anytime we've had temporary uses, we've always had hours listed.
Says it starts at 10. I'm sure it starts at.
So is it
Dark.
just
10
Yeah.
o'clock.
how long does
Time
it
of-
go? How loud will it be? I only ask because the words are here on the paper.
The answer is we don't.
Okay,
So
Yep.
say 10 o'clock.
we don't
start.
know and we don't need to know.
And we don't know the noise volume, like they have big booms or little booms.
Yeah, that'd be big.
Well, I think in the, and obviously this could be an issue if it were excessive.
Frequent.
Or frequent, right? We already know that it's intended to be one day. Starting at approximately 10 PM, so that would imply that it will be ending by midnight. Hopefully it won't go quite that long, but if
Most
you wanted to,
Most fireworks displays run about a half hour to 45 minutes.
right,
Yeah.
so if you wanted to indicate in your motion, or attach to the proposed resolution that it end no later than 11 PM, for example, that would I suspect be fine.
Having found in the affirmative for all of the issues in the ordinance, I would move adoption of the resolution the staff has provided as written. Second.
We have a motion, we have support. Do we have any question on the motion? Hearing none, roll call vote on the motion.
Jacobitz,
Yes.
Beely,
Yes,
Kolesky,
Yes,
Berg,
Yes.
Bertold,
Yes,
motion carried.
have the fireworks. The agenda, any old business, nothing listed? Anybody have anything?
The only thing I'm concerned about is not fireworks, but we continue to have a proliferation of fireworks stands. And I thought all of them were supposed to come through us.
And they do.
No, there were some that never came through here.
Some of them, Jerry, have a 5-year, have gotten permission for
Well,
5 years.
Well, the one I'm specifically talking about is where the eclipse is now.
I don't think that's in the state.
That's Adrian Township.
That was in the township, but that is a part of that whole thing where that land is now part of the city. It goes back, it doesn't matter. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
it just seems like.
Well, I had the same, I wondered about the same question when I saw that there, because I know we didn't approve one there. But in the back of my mind was that's Adrian Township and it's not our jurisdiction. But I may be mistaken on both those.
10 years ago.
The nightclub?
that land
yeah, the
was-
eclipse out there on.
I think it is in the,
Like across from across from Adrian Inn.
yeah, it's in the city.
Oh,
yeah,
there was,
they didn't ask.
Those the demarcation of those lines changed about 10 years ago.
yes. And there was a fireworks display there that we did not approve, or fireworks vendor.
Okay, good to know. Good to know.
Okay,
And there wasn't a problem. It's
No.
just.
Yeah.
How many
Good point.
fireworks stands can you have in Adrian, Michigan?
Yeah.
Lots.
same number of marijuana facilities.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
understand.
And unlimited.
Yeah.
Now that we've passed the request, my wife's family live in a small.
We're still
town.
recording here. Go ahead.
This is great.
Okay.
My wife's family lives in a small town in south of Kansas City, 2 hours south of Kansas City. They have a wonderful fireworks display. The best place to view that is in the city cemetery.
Cool.
So at 10 o'clock at night, everybody brings out their lawn
On
chairs,
chairs, yes, uh-huh,
prop up against the tombstones
yep,
and watch the fireworks.
yep.
It's a little bit unique.
But one thing, your comment, I don't think, you know, we don't limit anything on as far, I mean, as long as they come, get what they, you know.
Get
Request,
permission and-
get permission,
and
things,
meets the criteria.
yeah, meets the criteria and stuff and everything, they could be on every corner.
The issue that we do want to bring up tonight, though, is that in the future, and maybe it's as part of the ordinance rewrite. We don't want to see these.
Yeah, that is
Same-
intended to be
same
part
thing
of the
with
ordinance
temporary-
rewrite. That was one of,
Like generally temporary uses at all, unless there's something
Right.
really exceptional about it.
right, that's the intent.
I know.
That was one of the first things we told the consultant.
Okay,
In
okay,
fact, they asked us what, and this is typical when you're rewriting a zoning ordinance. You know, what is frequently coming before the zoning board of appeals, and we really don't, and they meant by that are there repetitive variance requests,
Right.
which
and they're not.
there used to be for sheds, and we kind of addressed that at
And
planning.
signs,
commission.
used to get them all.
Fine.
Really, well, I can see why those would either be, but those will be, maybe coming back, but
Yeah.
the,
That's fine.
Now that our.
but we told them,
Everything.
yeah, just structurally, temporary uses, it's a real problem. People don't leave enough lead time for things that
Right.
they want to do.
Yep.
We want to get into a more streamlined process going forward, but it will require different kinds of standards than what you went through tonight. We can't have that kind of loose subjective
Yeah.
standard. We
Yeah.
need
Mhm.
very precise
Yep.
standards.
As there should probably be anyway.
Right.
Yes.
Anything else?
So
For
so the first meeting with the consultants went well,
I think so.
okay?
Yeah, I was very pleased by it. You know, we had good participation, I thought, from the steering committee, and
And they know their stuff.
they are deep into it, correct?
So basically going through this whole book, is that the whole?
They're gonna rewrite it.
Yeah,
They're-
but that's-
They're essentially throwing that out and starting over, but you know, you still have to call out the things that are important.
Yeah.
And you really can't just eliminate the zoning district.
Right.
That would require a rezoning of the whole city. So as much as possible, you want to work with at least the
Framework.
framework of the existing zoning district. You can change your name and you can change what's allowed in there, but in terms of what's where, you want to keep that at the same as much as possible. We kind of started this work a little bit for them already by getting rid of the warehouse district, and we first amended I-1 to include anything that was in warehouse that hadn't been there before. And then we only had a few warehouse properties, so we rezoned them to I-1, is that earlier this year?
Yep.
Yeah, so that's already done, but there may be a little bit more of that, but
Well, for a town our size, we have a lot of different zones.
yes, far too many, right?
Mhm.
And then just in general, one of their charges is to make it much simpler, easier to understand, easier to read, easier to follow.
It's interesting. I made a comment to Cindy earlier. I said, I lived through this once already. This was the result of something else,
At
some-
least one.
something that. This was to make the old one better.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it's become a Frankenstein.
Well, and part of it is it gets,
Right.
it gets amended
Yeah.
3 times a year and that doesn't help.
The original when I started, we had no drawings, not a lot of good definitions of things and. We didn't have a nice chart showing all the regulations. They were all in separate locations, so you're always looking back and forth through things. And
Mhm.
so this was a big improvement. So do it again.
Yeah, well, we'll try to add a schedule of uses to the schedule of regulations,
Yes.
which is also a better practice.
Anything else? All right, we will adjourn the meeting.
Move to adjourn.
Sound like school board policies and everything, Jerry. Every few years, we just go through, renew them again.